It is said that luck is the intersection of preparation and opportunity. Welcome to Australian Hunting Backcountry, a platform where we will focus on all things around hunting in the backcountry. My name is Tobias, and I want you to join me as we hear lived experiences, explore gear, tips, techniques, and discuss the unique places that backcountry hunting can take you. I appreciate you coming along with me as I try to increase the knowledge to help us so that we might have better luck in the backcountry. We go. I'll kick this in the guts. Yep. All right. Welcome to this episode of Australian Hunting Backcountry, and we are again talking about our latest hunt recap. This one was up the Jollie Creek. So joining me again is Lawson from Nature's Perks. How you going? Good. Yeah, so where do we start with this one?
I will say that the depression levels since flying back into Australia have risen significantly. But I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say that the Jollie's hunt, even though it was a very slow start, would probably be top 3 best hunts I've ever been on.
Yeah, right.
Even though some things didn't turn out the way we liked it because of, which we'll probably get to that later on. Mm-hmm. But I think in my mind, when you were selling backcountry hunting to me, that's what I was picturing.
Yeah, right.
That's, I think there was a moment there where we kind of like, we had the weather, we had the water, we had a few issues, and then we were like, righto. I remember looking and going, all right, this is why we're doing it. This is so much cooler.
Yeah, well, look, to give you some perspective, we are actually back in, we're back home. We're back in Queensland now. We got back on Sunday night, and it's now Thursday. Yeah, we were planning on doing all the recordings over there. However, a couple of things happened. We could have done it in the car, but I don't love the audio when we're in the car, and I thought we'd try and find time to do it in a hotel room, but we were just so flat out busy going from one to the next and organising things and so forth that, we just didn't end up doing it. So consequently, that's why this one is a little bit delayed and why we're doing it now. But nonetheless, hopefully we remember all the information that we want to pass on. It's always better doing these things when you're closer to the event, but we'll just make do. So, all right, so to backtrack to where we were. So this hunt was planned up the Jollie, which is on the east coast, east side of New Zealand, not far from Twizel, really.
Lake Takapū, in the middle of Lake Takapū, Twizel and Mount Cook. Yeah.
So you actually drive up the side of Lake Tekapo for a little while till you get to the...
Lake... what's the one?
Oh, Pukaki.
Pukaki, that's right.
That's right. Yeah, we kept calling it something else.
Yeah. A bit R-rated that.
Yeah, we won't. Sorry, Lake Pukaki. I nearly said it then. I had to pause, catch myself. And you get to your jump-off point. There's a car park there and the track's sort of marked. But to back up a step even further, when we were driving to this hunt, we recorded the last episode. And we were both obviously distracted because Lawson drove right past the turnoff that we needed to go down. And I didn't pick up that we'd driven past the turnoff. And we ended up actually at Mount Cook instead of Mount Cook Station, which is fine because I hadn't been there before, and the scenery of Mount Cook is absolutely fantastic. It was well worth the drive. But unfortunately, due to the sort of delay caused by that, we then just decided to turn around, go back to Twizel and get a cabin in the caravan park for the night.
It was quite late. We were pretty much. The idea was to walk into the hut, the first hut, which was 3K. We would have walked in at night, and yeah, it didn't really make sense to. And I think we had a few things we just needed to do on top of that as well. So get our food sorted.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, we end up. I made the mistake. We basically got to go and have a look at Glen Tanner, Mount Cook. Turned around, went to Twizel, and then which was good because we actually had a real good look at our gear and sorted ourselves out.
Yeah, we refined the food a little bit, so we weren't rushed packing everything, and just kind of, when you're rushed, you kind of tend to throw stuff in rather than actually, really sort of paying attention, and so that worked well for us. And having a warm bed and a hot shower and that sort of thing beforehand never hurts either.
Yeah, if you are going through that way, if you've got a camper van, do you remember the name of the place?
No, I do not.
Yes.
No.
But if you're ever going through that way, basically, it'll be the cheapest accommodation in Twizel, and it was only $86 for the night, and really nice facilities, great shower. I think I'll definitely be stopping there again.
Yeah. Well, we on this hunt, we'll talk about him later on. We met a guy who from the US, and he was over for 3 months hunting over there, and he had his own camper van, and he stopped in the park and just got an unpowered site because he's got all his kitchen and stuff in the back and bed and so forth. And it was only $22 for the night. Yeah. And it had a hot shower, access to the full kitchen facilities. So that would be another option as well. But anyway, so we next day, like I said, we got our gear sorted and finally got to where we needed to go. And you walk in, you've got to go through a gate because it's all onto private land initially. There's a road you follow through a patch of private land, or I think it's all a logging lease or something. But
private on one side, lease on the other side.
Saw some cracking deer on that part, of course, all behind the fence where you're not allowed to shoot. And I'm pretty sure that they knew it because they literally just stood there a couple of 100 metres away from us, just staring back at us while we were photographing and filming them. That was probably, I think that was like in the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes of the hike in.
Even less. I saw him and then watched his hinds kind of just watch us, and then all of a sudden, a nice fellow buck just popped up out of nowhere. And then we walked up a bit further and I saw a good fellow in the distance, and we kind of were sitting there dreaming they were on the other side of the fence.
So if you want to do a bit of photography, filming some animals, it's certainly a good spot. And obviously at that part, you just got to make it very obvious that you're not hunting. The last thing you want to be doing is getting caught on a game camera looking through the scope at a deer or something like that. So I'm sure that would not go down well. So made it to Jolly Hut, and like Lawson said, it's only about 3 k's in, so it's pretty much sort of an hour of walking, maybe a little bit under.
Very, very easy walk too.
Yeah, it's all very well marked, good track, only very sort of low gradient hill. So it was a good start, good to get our legs warmed up again. And thankfully there was no one in the hut at that time. We didn't stop there that night.
We didn't stop there that night. We kept going, and we met those 3 hunters on the way in.
Yeah, yep, that's right. Had a bit of a chat to them. They were walking out from the next hut.
Green Point Hut, which is 6.5 k, I think.
Yep. So we basically just walked until sort of got to late afternoon, and then said we better, we're not going to make the hut tonight, so we better just, or we could make the hut but we're going to have to walk in the dark and so forth, and just because we weren't sure what the terrain was going to be like, we thought we'd better just have discretion being the better part of valor, and find a flat spot to set up the tents. And there was that was when the weather started blowing in, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they were walking out because of the weather, those three guys. In hindsight, we probably should have listened to them and went back to the hut to Jollie's, but we thought it was just going to be blowing over, which it didn't, unfortunately. Yeah, pretty much rained all the next day.
Yep. So that night, through the night, and basically all the next day, rain, a lot of low cloud around as well. So obviously we couldn't even go hunting.
Well, on top of that, we did the Swan too. So we got to camp, we set up, went for a quick flick.
Quick flick, sorted out some water to filter, and then we cooked up the swan breast from the duck shoot that I was on. So we had a bit of cream cheese, some bacon to wrap it in, and you sort of cooked it up then over the jet boil.
Yeah. Probably do it differently next time.
Yeah, we didn't quite get it right, that one.
Just a bit too big for the jet boil.
Yeah.
That's all right. You live and you learn.
Yeah, but anyway, in the end, it was definitely edible. But yeah, probably a nicer way to do it.
Definitely.
Yeah, and just got into bed in time for the bad weather to blow in, and like I said, pretty much all the next day, the bad weather was there. We were all pretty wet. My tent had a couple of leaks in it, a couple of slow leaks sort of through the stitching from the tarp. So yeah, wasn't super happy about that. It was kind of dripping onto the fly screen, which was then transferring inside. So I had to move some things around and try and divert the water a little bit. And it was leaking in a couple of other spots, like right above my head. So that was coming onto the fly and then slowly dripping through as well.
Which is the best feeling in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's super awesome. Yeah. And did you have? So this was. We should also mention too. One of the things that we had to do was go and buy you a new tent, because on the chamois hunt with Glenn, the Kuyu tent broke a pole in the wind.
Yep.
So you ended up going to hunting and fishing and getting a Orson tent.
Yes, Orson. I got an Orson. Got that. I got the Ace Orson one-person tent, so 3-season. Which in the next podcast we'll talk more about again.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that day it rained. You were getting a little bit of sprinkle on you. I think I got up, went to the toilet. I sat out there and got wet, and then went, all right, this sucks. Jumped back into the tent. Slept most of the day. I don't know why I slept so much, but slept a fair bit. And then I think you woke me up.
Yeah, well, the weather kind of broke, and I figured that was as good a time as any to make a decision on what we were going to do, because the weather forecast was that it was going to keep going, and the wind was going to pick up as well. So rather than sitting out on the river flats and being reasonably close to the hut, I said, how about we go back to the hut, get a fire going, get stuff dried out.
Which is the best plan the whole trip.
Yeah. Recalibrate things and wait for this weather to pass and then have another crack. And so we did that. We packed everything up in a hurry, wet, and just basically bombed back to the hut as quick as we could.
It was only about 3K.
Yeah, it wasn't far.
it was good going back because we got to, like you said, recalibrate. We actually went through all the gear, figured out that I'm a bit too heavy. Left a lot of camera gear behind that I kind of decided I wasn't going to use, which was awesome. And I felt completely safe leaving that in a cupboard there. So I left quite a few items there, and drying in the fire was just amazing. Except for the mouse, about 10:30 at night, he came out, and he must have the biggest claws in the world, this mouse, because I heard him coming from a mile away. So
yeah, well, the hut is all timber, so timber floor, timber frame, timber lining, timber cladding on the outside. So every noise is just amplified in there. It's like an echo chamber. And it's a good big hut too. Like it's 2 rooms, yeah. So the bedroom is separate to the main sort of room where the fireplace is. The unfortunate downside to that as well is when somebody snores, it's amplified in there. So
are you whinging again?
No, not whinging. No, just explaining the situation, providing people with the facts. I did try putting some earplugs in. But I don't think that actually helped at all, because all you do is listen to yourself breathing all the time instead, and you can still hear somebody snoring in the background. So, yeah, didn't really help. So, yeah, sleep was a bit of a premium on these trips. It was not the best trip for getting sleep, just in general anyway, but.
Yeah, we didn't sleep much the first trip, and that wasn't my fault. I don't think it was my fault. It's a fair distance from you.
No, I can't pin the blame on you for that one. No, it's difficult laying on those mats for so long, and yeah, when you shift around at night and you try and lay on your side, you don't get much sleep then, because eventually your shoulder gets sore, or you get pins and needles in one of your hands, or something like that. Anyway, that's just part of the fun, really. It's
supposed to be this big hard backcountry hunter.
Whinging about
about sleep,
not nice soft mattress. Yeah. So that was a good choice. Like Lawson said, we left a bit of gear behind, and which you can very easily do in New Zealand in those huts. There's a lot of respect from people who use those facilities, and they're always left clean, and people always sort of try and restock the firewood if they can, and people leave things behind like fuel canisters and ingredients and frying pans and bits and pieces like that, just to make things a bit more comfortable.
Ghee,
yeah.
Whoever the person that left ghee at Jolly, thank you.
Yes, that was amazing, because that night that we stayed there, we cooked up the duck breasts that I had with me. So again, from the duck shooting, had 2 breasts that had the skin off, and then the other 2 that had the skin on. So Lawson, we had some seasoning there and some flour. Lawson cut it up, seasoned it, and then fried up some duck nuggets as an entree. And then we had duck breast with skin on, crispy skin duck breast with 4 cheese pasta for dinner.
Oh.
And I got to say, that was probably one of the best meals of the whole trip.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
Anything crispy duck was just Yeah, I don't know how people put that stuff into prosciutto and salamis. I think you're crazy.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
So yeah, again, that was well worth the night in the hut on its own. So finally got underway. Walked in, did a bit of filming and so forth, content along the way. There wasn't a great deal of sort of hunting and glassing done because the opposite side of the river was actually still private property for a majority of the walk in, and the other side sort of wasn't much country. I'd say was really going to produce. So we didn't bother stopping too much. We just wanted to get to the hut as quickly as we could, basically. On the way, we ran into another two hunters who were coming out. They had been in the hut, so they let us know that the hut was now empty, and had a bit of a conversation with them about what they'd seen and so forth. They told us they'd seen plenty of animals, but they were all up high, and those guys sort of weren't really enthusiastic about going chasing them. So they ended up shooting a young billy on the flats, on the river flats,
yeah,
near the river. So they had packs full of meat. They were pretty happy. Right, so hut by that afternoon.
Green Point Hut.
Yep. Much smaller hut this time, and unfortunately no fireplace. But still very comfortable, bunk beds, table, chairs, that sort of thing. And certainly a good place to base ourselves. So next day was spent glassing the mountains just from the hut, basically. We just took the chairs out, sat in the sun, tried to warm up, set up the tripods and just glassed. And it wasn't long before I found mob and of course they were right up in almost about as high as you could get in almost the most impossible country they could get into. So typical tar being tar. So we basically, I think, spent that day pretty much glassing.
Yeah, went for a little walk, nothing too.
Yeah, a little walk up the river, a bit more. Nothing terribly strenuous, just kind of feeling the place out and trying to come up with a plan.
The old 3-day rule. Always takes 3 days to figure out the joint.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our third day then. And we were kind of starting to solve the puzzles and putting the pieces together. And those guys did help a bit, saying look high.
And
yeah.
I found too that once you found tar, then you started seeing more tar. And I know that sounds silly to say, but when you're staring up at a mountain that's 1,000, 1,200, 13 metres, 1,300 metres away, whatever those sort of peaks were, it's very difficult to get a perspective on the size of the animal to know what sort of size and shape you should be looking for, because there's a lot of rocks and shadows and bushes and clumps of grass up there that look like they could be tar.
Yeah.
And you sit there staring at it, and then you get the spotting scope out and check it, and no, it's not. But as soon as you sort of saw one, and then you had that size perspective, I found that it made it a lot easier from that point on.
Yeah.
You just sort of scan across and you go, oh, yep, that could be one, and yes, that is one. So that was really helpful to find them. Spend that first day sort of just glassing and getting your eye in, basically, and then knowing from then on for the next couple of days. I think that really helped spot the animals that we did.
Yeah. We also had with once the spotting was sorted out, we kind of worked out how we were going to do things. Having good glass was helpful, but the river was quite high, so we kind of worked out that they weren't on the northern side. They were more on the, what was it, the western? No.
Yeah, more. They were sort of on the western side. We were on the eastern side.
So we did, because of so much rain happened, the river was quite high. But I felt like from everyone that in every hut there is that book, which basically people kind of put down a bit of a details on where they shot everything, and most of the ones were on the northern side, so you could tell that the northern side had been hit a lot, where no one had gone across the river and headed up high. So that kind of started to form ideas in our head a bit.
Yeah. So those, once we found those, the next day we found those same tar in that spot, the same spot. Then we kind of developed a bit of a plan, started looking at the maps and seeing how doable it was to get to them. And there was a while there we were sort of debating if we cross the river, how can we walk up to them and what sort of path are we going to take. And all of them looked hard, some of them looked impossible. But we thought, we'll just have to get over there and maybe give it a crack, and worst we can do is turn around and go back down and try again. But then the next morning, when we got up and they were still there, we sort of came up with the plans that maybe we could go over the back of the hill, of the mountain, not a hill, it's a bloody mountain. Maybe we could get to them by going over the back of the mountain and the top of it and sort of coming down on top of them. And that way we might actually have a better chance of shooting one before they see us and take off. So looked at the maps and I came up with a plan. It was going to require us to cross the river. There was no way we were going to be able to safely cross it where we were. It was just too high, too fast, too powerful. So we decided that we would need to walk upstream until we could find a place to cross, and then make our way up one of the valleys and then try and get over that way. So checked out the weather, saw we had a couple of days of good weather ahead of us, and we decided that we were going to dump a heap of gear at the hut and just basically take 2 nights worth of gear and spike out up there. So Lawson took the tent out of his bag and just carried the tarp for it, the tarp and the poles and the pegs, try and cut a bit of weight. We knew there was going to be plenty of water up there, so we didn't need to pack a heap of water in. We took food for the 2.5 days. Basically, that was about it. Bit of camera gear, and just the basics.
Yeah, I will say we did sit at that hut for 2 days. We did do little bits of little hunts and stuff like that, but I think we both came to terms that the hut was a bit of a siren. We needed to leave the hut to go and get these animals.
Yep.
And then the plan was formed. So
I'll just come back to your comment then about the siren. So what Lawson means is that the huts provide you with a great deal of comfort, and sometimes it's very easy to just resort to going back to something that's comfortable, and finding excuses to be there and stay there. So this is sort of part of the mental fortitude that you need to prepare yourself for, because could have quite easily stayed at the hut the whole trip.
Yeah.
And hoped that the tar were going to come down and park themselves across the river from us, and we could just shoot them from the hut. But that was not going to happen, or was not likely to happen, and certainly not a trophy bull. So you've got to sort of push yourself to get out of the hut. Use the hut as a base. Use it to your advantage, particularly if there's bad weather coming. But be sort of ready to leave it all behind as soon as you can.
You also had satellite connected, so you were watching the weather pretty carefully. You were always checking and going on, making sure we basically had one really bad night of weather at that hut, and then we had that plan of, okay, we're gonna get through this bad weather, then we're off the next day, next window, and that was a good plan. That was a big storm, and yes, the water came up a bit, and we had to walk 3 k's down to the river to find somewhere suitable to cross, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no, the walking was reasonably easy for that first part. and what we were looking for was basically where the river feathered out significantly, so that there wasn't just one or two main channels for the water. And when we found somewhere, there was one section was still, sort of knee deep, but it was definitely doable. And then the rest of it was just shallow sort of streams that you could walk across without any stress. So once we found that section and we were both happy, we then
That's right.
did our various theories on crossing the creek. So for me, I'm not sure if this is going to be in the YouTube video, but for me, I decided that I was going to try something that I'd seen a couple of Alaskan guides do on YouTube, where they put their rain pants on and then tape the bottom of the pants to their boots. So it kind of basically turns them into waders. So that wasn't 100% successful. I did get water quite significantly in one boot and into the other boot as well. But I think I should have used different tape. If I'd used the wider gaffer tape, probably would have been more successful. We only had electrical tape, and I only wrapped it around a couple of times. So if I'd spent a bit more time and effort with different material, I think it would have been more successful. But anyway, at least I could walk across without injuring my feet or anything like that.
We were racing the sun too, so
yeah,
we didn't leave till about 2ish. Got down to the spot to cross by 3. So the sun was already with the mountains going down by 3 o'clock.
Because you're in the valley there, you got mountains on both sides of you. So on the eastern side, it hides the sun until mid-morning, and then on the western side, it sort of makes the sun set a lot earlier. So, and once the sun sets, that's when the temperature starts dropping. So yeah, we were in a bit of a race. So, but Lawson opted to do the undie run across the river.
Yeah.
How did that work out for you?
Yeah, look, I would do it again if it was less rocks. I did love going back into a nice... Well, the thing is, it all happened very quickly. So we got across. I suffered the pain. I felt great going back into nice, warm, dry clothes. But as we turned around, we crossed the river. We turned around, and on the scree, right, basically where we were a big mob of tar. And that was the first tar that we saw in shooting distance. Well, I say shooting distance, but 500 metres away. So I basically, with no shoes on, only half my pants, not even tied up yet, we were looking at taking a shot at a tar. So I was very cold. Yeah, I'll let you talk through that one a bit. I'm just going to stay quiet.
So the tar sort of appeared out of the brush. So there's low growing sort of plants in New Zealand. They're probably maybe 3 foot high, sort of. When I say that they're low growing, but the tar get in there and they bed down in there and basically disappear. So you can be glassing all that country, you can just be absolutely picking it apart with your eyes, and unless the tar move or stand up and turn around in their bed or whatever, then you don't see them. So like Lawson said, he turned around, looked on the scree slope, and there was a couple of tar, and then lo and behold, more sort of appeared out of this shrubbery, and one of them was a sort of reasonable bull. Lawson decided he was going to take a shot, so we ranged it. Lawson got down prone on the riverbank, set himself up, and well, missed. That's the only way to put it.
Get used to that theory. So
Yeah.
get used to that result.
So everything seemed to be right. Couldn't understand why he missed. They ran for a little bit and stopped again, so he had another crack and missed again. So yeah, you're very frustrated by that stage, because we'd spent quite a bit of time sort of preparing the rifles and so forth for this trip, and so we had the ability to shoot those sort of distances confidently, and he did not. So we watched the tahr. I think I might have filmed them for a little bit. We watched them sort of run away, and we just carried on. Lawson hung his head in shame, and we walked. Then had to find our valley to walk up. Got we needed to make sure we had some water nearby too, from where we were going to camp, because we were sort of almost out of water. Probably had enough for dinner, but definitely needed some for the next day. But we knew that there was water pouring out of the hills all over the place, so I kept an eye out for that. Plus, trying to find a flat spot for us to set up the tent on. We walked about as far as we could with the remaining light, and found a spot that was good enough. Set up the tent, got ourselves fed, and that's when the trauma started for me after that. So Lawson's new tent was definitely a one-man tent.
Yep.
It was not even, I would say it's not even 1.5 man. So we didn't test this out before we left. I just kind of assumed we would both be all right under there. Anyway, by the time Lawson got his air mattress in and I tried to squeeze mine in next to it, I was hanging out from underneath the bottom of the tarp a little bit. And she got pretty cold that night.
-6?
Yeah, definitely down in the negatives, -6, -7. Well, it was -6 when I checked the thermometer, and that was after the sun had sort of lit up the place. The sun wasn't out from behind the mountain, but it would definitely been light for a little while. Sleeping bag had ice on it. I didn't have a great sleep that night. But anyway,
neither did I. No one had proper sleep that night.
At least I managed to get up and go for a pee.
Yeah.
You had to hold yours in.
Yeah. I did hold that in all night.
I don't know how you slept.
I didn't want to wake you up.
I would have been compassionate for that. Trust me.
I didn't want to get out of the bag, and I didn't want to have to move you or anything like that. I'm feeling sorry for you.
Anyway, that's all part of the adventure, and we opted to do it. I think I made the comment, just to rub salt in the wound, that your Kuyu tent would have been far better option to do that with, because you can do that with those Kuyu tents, is separate the inner from the outer and just use the outer. But anyway, so we did sort of hang around for a bit there, left some things out in the sun to try and dry, to try and first of all melt the ice.
Yeah.
And then
meanwhile,
secondly,
the sun didn't come up we didn't see the sun till 10.
So. But yeah, packed up, got ourselves, because it was all uphill from here. So once we left the river, it was all uphill. So got back on the hill, crossed a couple of creeks, that sort of thing. Nothing terribly major. Saw quite a bit of tar sign as we were climbing, so that sort of kept our spirits high. And then aimed for this bit of a saddle where I thought we could probably try and get over, or it might have been the first place that we could try and get over. And I got up there first, and
I thought you were behind me the whole time, but I was waiting for this shot. I had this shot in my head that I wanted to film Tobias coming up, and that definitely didn't happen because I turned around and he was in front of me. So, yeah.
Yeah. So when I got up there, it was not what I thought it was going, not what I was hoping it was going to be. We're pretty much cliffed out up there.
Walking up to you was I realised what was happening, and I walked up and you looked devastated. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was a little bit devastated at that point. And not only that, but then when I looked at the hill that we had to walk up, that we were planning on climbing over the back of the mountain to get onto those tar, that looked just as difficult, if not impossible, as well. So,
see, after you say that, like I remember that area very well. Where I don't want to spoil, what's coming, but I think where we went around, you could have got to that area.
yeah,
it would have sucked. It would have been horrible. But to get to where we originally had planned, it was doable. It just was probably another whole day's hike.
Yeah, probably, yeah, it would have taken us longer. We would have run the risk of running out of food and so forth. But yeah.
Where we were was, once we kind of figured out what was going on, well, you didn't even see him, but there was tar right in front of us. Then we had that little one that was playing peekaboo.
Yep.
And then I said, there's a whole mob just down there. And then you went for a little bit of a walk, and I had a young bull only 200 metres from me.
Yep.
Things started opening up a bit.
Yeah, well, it actually worked out for the better. So I sort of walked along this ridge and just had a look at the country. There was some really good looking country sort of further up. So I went up there to have a bit of a look, left everything behind, and lo and behold, found another mob of tar up there with one really good bull in it and another sort of satellite bull. So turned around and got back to Lawson and told him what I'd found and said, I think we need to go because we're going to run out of daylight. We've still got to get sort of around this other scree slope to get in a position to be able to get a shot at him. And so I wanted to move as quickly as we could. That was all well and good because the bulls were visible from the ridge. We dropped down a little bit and then sort of poked up through a saddle. And then when we got over the other side of the saddle, we had to cross this scree slope, and that side of the mountain was basically permanently in the shade. So when in New Zealand, when parts of the country are permanently in the shade, don't see the sun, particularly at that time of year with the temperatures, you basically get like a permafrost. So the ground was frozen. So all of the scree, the gravel, was frozen into like an asphalt. The only problem was it was in some parts it was like walking on ball bearings. As soon as your foot slipped and picked up a bit of momentum, there was nothing there to hold you. There was nothing you couldn't dig your foot in. You couldn't grip on anything, and just that surface of gravel just kept breaking away, and consequently, it was really less than ideal. So
it's quite scary.
Yeah. There were a couple of points there crossing that when you were literally hanging on by the side of your boot, like the very outer part of the sole of your boot and your fingernails.
It was very, very uncomfortable.
But we made it across. But then, of course, we were conscious that if we went across, we were going to have to get back. So we needed to make sure that we were not held up, until dark over the other side. So we got into position where I wanted to get up, poke over this little bit of a sort of cutting, and looked up onto the face where I'd seen the tar before, the big bull tar, and he wasn't there anymore. Frantically looked around trying to find him, and I was very confident that they hadn't seen us coming. We ducked down out of their line of sight with the approach that we took. So I was very confident that they hadn't seen us, but there's always sentry tar on the lookout. So there's nannies and young bulls and so forth getting around, circling around. So the bull tar that I'd seen was actually sitting down on this sort of grassy patch. But that doesn't mean that we weren't seen by something else, and hadn't seen them. Anyway, had a look around, couldn't see this bull, couldn't see the mob. Kind of figured that maybe they'd spotted us and we'd spooked them off. And then Lawson called out and said that he spotted a bull. It was walking away from us and had all the sort of makings of being the bull that I'd seen and wanted to shoot. It was very difficult to get an assessment on him properly because he was walking away and he was it was close to 500 metres or just over 500 metres at that point.
Yeah. No, he was walking to us. I think the first range was 510 or 5, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a long way away.
Yeah, and we knew we were running out of light as well, and so I decided I would get down a little bit closer and try and get myself into a good position to take the shot. I saw a good rock ahead of me that I thought was going to be a good platform to rest the rifle on, set up the bipod and so forth. And yeah, by that stage, closing that gap a little bit and him moving, we were at 408 metres. That was
486.
486, was it?
Yep. Because I watched the video
the
other day. And it was 486.
Right. Okay.
And that bit from where we spotted him to getting to shoot, it was 40 minutes.
Okay.
Which it feels like 30 seconds when we were doing it.
Mm.
But it was actually 40 minutes.
Yeah, right. So got the range on him, dialed in the app, looked up the formula, the shooting solution, dialed the scope up and sent one on the way. And I connected with him. I lost the sight picture in the recoil, but definitely connected with him because he kind of walked off very sick looking.
Yeah, it was an instant hit. He was very crook. I didn't get the camera on him in time, but I saw it with my eyes, and you can definitely tell. It's amazing, the size of these animals, but the toughness. This fella got hit twice, and he never did anything like a deer does.
No.
Just absorbed all that energy. So.
Yeah, so after the first shot, he walked on a little bit, pulled up on some rocks and sort of stood there. He was quartering away from me. So I slipped another one in sort of behind the last rib, trying to cover as much of his body as I could, get the projectile through as many vital organs as I could and secure him. And
you nailed it.
Yep, another good hit, and he took a couple of steps, fell over the other side of the rock escarpment that he was on, we lost sight of him.
Mm.
We did watch it for a while. He definitely didn't run out from behind the rock. He didn't go downhill. We didn't see him pop out uphill. And then at that point, you looked around, and lo and behold, there was the mob.
Yeah, with the bulls that you're looking for.
With the big bull that I was looking for, which we didn't realise at the time that it was him until we got a bit closer and got some eyes on him.
We can just leave this bit out if you want.
No.
I've had it replayed in my head probably 100 times.
The integrity of the podcast is important here. So at that point then, offered the next shot to Lawson because I'd already shot mine.
I regret that. I really wish you took that one.
And he did spot it. So, yeah, the old rule, whoever spots it, gets it. So
terrible rule, by the way.
Lawson grabbed his rifle. I left mine with the pack, or I can't even remember where I left it.
We dumped our stuff.
Dumped our stuff, that's right. We dumped our stuff. I left my rifle and pack behind. And we sort of mowed it up to this this part where we were going to be able to get a shot at the animal, sort of over the crest of this rise. And Lawson, again, we ranged it. He checked his app for the shooting solution, dialed it up. And I think at that point you might have even mentioned to me that you felt it was too much.
It was 8 MOA for a 400 metre shot. My scopes are 3 to 15 by 44 Leopold 5X or 5 VHD, whatever you call it. That animal was filling up the scope. Like I was watching the breeze through the scope. Like I could see this animal so clearly. And I even say to you, like I'm watching the hair fly off him. And then we put it into the app, and it came up with a 8.1 MOA. And I just, in my head, I didn't really make sense. I always thought the 400 metres was around that 4 MOA. But I thought, maybe the angle, because it was a bit of an angle. We were shooting up. We waited for him to get in the right spot, and the bullet just flew straight over top.
Yep.
Which is in a good way. It's good to have a good miss.
Yeah, it was definitely. I think that first one I saw it impact the rock above him. So I called it high, and you were just astounded. And
I've never seen anything like that in the scope, and I've never missed like that.
But like you said, it is good to have a very convincing miss rather than, a bad shot and an injury and all of that. So
I'd rather a bull tar.
Yeah. Bull tar to put on the wall would be nice. But anyway, so they ended up moving around a bit. The shot sort of put them off a little bit, but obviously there was a nanny on heat there, so he kept sort of hanging around.
Weren't going far.
He had another crack at him, missed again. That one I couldn't tell which way you'd missed.
I actually watched it.
Did you?
Watched it yesterday, and it would have missed him by 2 inches.
Oh, okay, right.
It flew straight over his back.
Yeah, okay.
I watched that vapor trail and everything. It was pretty cool. Very frustrating because you hear me just start swearing in the background. Very frustrating. But I missed him by a good 2 inches over his back. Watching the rock explode behind him was pretty cool.
So I think we just watched them for a little bit longer. Did you have another crack, or you'd give up by then?
I think there was 3 shots. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I missed all 3.
Yeah.
And that's by then we kind of thought.
And we watched that bull chase off another younger, smaller bull as well.
Yep.
So this one was definitely the dominant stag, or the dominant bull of the mob. And He certainly looked impressive in the binos.
Thanks. Just keep rubbing
it. So that point there, we kind of you sort of suggested I go back and get my rifle, and I said, look, let's just leave it. Let's just call it a day.
Mind you, we looked around and there were just tar everywhere.
Yeah.
We got back to camp and we're just watching mob after mob. In that mob alone, there would have been 30 tar. Probably around 20 to 30 tar just moving through.
And they just filed across the scree slopes in front of us, and it was pretty cool to sit there and watch them.
Really, like I say it's top 3 best hunts I've ever had, but the pain of not getting one, and that's my own doing. I blame myself for that, but
we did eventually work out what the problem was. We'll talk about that later on, but at that point there anyway, after sort of giving up, we decided that we needed to get back to boogie back because we were running out of light, and we didn't want to cross that country that we'd been across in a headlamp. So we actually chose a different path back, which worked out a lot better for us. There were still a couple of sketchy bits, but it was definitely a lot safer anyway.
It was.
Yeah,
it was a better option. Probably should say to everyone, before we crossed that scree, we dumped our heavier stuff, drones, mattresses, everything that we could, and just took our bags and guns.
Yeah. Just basically kill kit, gun, water.
Yep.
That was pretty much it.
Because it was very. It wasn't. The incline was very difficult. We just basically walked up 1,400 metres, and then spotted these guys. Only had a few bites to eat during the day, so we that last afternoon was a lot of exercise, like a quite high intense exercise. We had to go across that terrible scree face, and then we had to go and chase that bull. Got him, turned around. There's the other bull. So we were quite active, and then we had to climb. And I say climb, we were climbing back. It was pretty hard to get. Very tough day. So then probably had the sketchiest camp spot in the world.
Yeah. Oh, it was a beautiful camp spot. We picked this little saddle.
3x3.
Literally just sort of wide enough to pitch a tarp on and Lawson's little tent. So for this second night, I opted to sleep under my tarp. So I pegged it out, tied the other end onto my tripod, and then strung that down to a big heavy rock, and stretched the mattress out and so forth underneath that. That was all well and good. However, a couple of things happened that night.
Not for me. I was snoring away.
Yes, you were. So my sleeping mat got a hole in it.
Oh, no, I wasn't snoring, actually, sorry.
I didn't use a ground sheet on that first night. However, the hole ended up being in the top of it, on the top side of the mattress, not on the underside. So, go figure. I don't know how it happened, but anyway, it was a pretty significant hole, to the point that I would blow the mattress up, and then after about 20 minutes, I'd be on the cold, hard ground. So...
and we had that storm come through
too.
too.
So that was the first problem. Then we had the windstorm come through. Thankfully, there was no rain with it. It was just the wind. But where we'd pitched our camp, we were sort of on this saddle, and it was a bit of a funnel point for the wind coming through. So we copped a hammering that night.
Yeah, I actually slept. I had my gloves on, my kit on, I actually basically slept holding my tent, what do you call it, poles down. So I think I slept from 9 o'clock till about midnight, and then that's when it started. But the sound, you could hear it before it was coming to you, which was tough because you knew, okay, here it goes, it's coming. Hang on to the tent, and that went from about 12 till 4.
Yeah, just before sun up.
Yeah, that was tough because I remember falling back to sleep at about 3, but having that in my to finally put my arm down and having a bit of a rest because yeah,
you'd hear this roaring sort of coming, sounded like a jet fighter approaching, and then next minute you just get smashed with this wind, and it was just again just added to the adventure.
that's it.
Yeah,
great adventure.
Yeah, but I mean, everything held up. We survived. There was a couple of I think my hat got blown away, so I found that sort of halfway down the hill the next morning. My good mental hunts hat.
Good hats, those ones.
Yeah. But no, all good. The next morning we needed to go and recover my bull.
Well, we were a bit worried about. Well, that was in my head. Was
oh, sorry, that's right. Yeah,
we thought we were going to get blown off the hill, and then we're like, okay, we're not going to get Tobias's bull, which is a horrible feeling because you're sitting there going, we've just shot this thing and love a bit of meat and so on and so forth. So that was something during the night that it kept crossing my mind that we're going to get blown off this hill, which in hindsight I think I probably would have just popped over the edge and just laid down and slept in the bag.
Yeah, well, when the wind started, I put my headlamp on my head and grabbed a couple of things and threw them in my sleeping bag, and I thought if worst comes to worst, I'm just going to just literally pop down the other side of the hill on the lee side of the wind, and I'll just find a flat spot, lean up against the hill in my sleeping bag, and try and get the sleep that I can get some sleep or not.
Yeah.
But then the next morning we're standing there talking, and I'm sort of questioning, shit, I hope that bull's dead. I'd hate to think that he slipped away, and all those sort of concerns go through your mind. And then Lawson looks over and goes, "There it is over there." And I thought he was having a go, so I was like, "Oh, no, you're full of shit." And grabbed my binos, and he said, "See that brown lump over there?" And sure enough, we could actually see it from camp. So very reassuring to see
feeling.
that.
Yeah. Flew the drone over to confirm. What was it, 400 or 500 metres away. So it was a good hike to get to him in the country we were in. But then obviously in our minds we had a fair bit to do that day. It was we kind of call it the day of days in my head because it was we had to get that bull. We had to pack up, get that bull, get down the hill and back to the one of the huts.
Yeah.
Because we needed to be in Queenstown the following day, basically. So we did. We had to, haul ass a bit, which was a bit, which makes the trip a lot more fun. Put a bit of pressure on, but I'll shut up from here.
Yeah. So back across that dodgy sort of scree slope. We'd worked out a good path to get across there anyway, so it wasn't too bad, except for a little sketchy area. Got over, got my hands on the bull, worked out that it definitely wasn't the big one that I'd seen the day before, which I have to admit I was a little disappointed. I know that the size of the trophy is not everything, and it shouldn't be the focus. but I was hoping that I was going to be taking a mature bull. But the one I shot was still a nice bull. It was just a little bit younger than I would have hoped, and if I had had the opportunity to take the time to assess him again before shooting him, I probably wouldn't have shot him. But anyway, he was on the ground. He was as dead, and take nothing away from the adventure that we had. Like I said, the size of the trophy doesn't relate to the adventure and doesn't detract from it either. So, yeah, still happy. Amazing scenery. We've got some fantastic photos. Decided I was only going to take the skull. I was going to do a Euro mount with him. I wasn't going to cape him out, and we wanted to take a bit of meat as well. So whipped out the back straps, and do we get the tenderloins on that one, or just the back straps? Yeah, that's right. The second shot, I think, ruined half of one of the back straps, and probably the tenderloins too. So yeah, got that back to camp, packed up, and then we had to bomb off the hill. And after a good solid hour of downhill, made it to the river, went basically back to the same spot we crossed. Same thing again. I taped up the bottom of my rain pants. Again, didn't work properly. It was a little bit more effective because I used a little bit more tape this time, but actually ran out of electrical tape. So I think I definitely think more tape is the answer for the next time. Lawson went undies and carried.
No, just went.
Oh no, that's right. You just bombed across, didn't you?
Yeah, because the idea is we're going to get to the hut.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Hut with a fire. So we had two huts. So we're going back to the first hut.
Yep.
And I wasn't taking clothes off again. It's cold.
Yeah. And raced down to Greenpoint Hut, got our gear. A couple of guys had come in since we were away. They weren't there, but they were set up in the hut, so all the gear was still there that we'd left behind, which was good. Loaded our packs up, and then we made the decision that we were going to we were going to keep going until we got to Jolly Hut. We weren't going to bother stopping, setting up camp somewhere. We were just going straight back to the hut.
So how many k's was that from the top?
All in all, that day we did 16. Yeah.
And we were going hard.
Yeah. Yep. So we ended up walking in headlamps for quite a few hours.
It was cold by the end of it.
Yeah. Yep. But it was good. Because we knew we were getting back to the hut, we didn't bother stopping at the creeks. We just found somewhere to cross, barreled across, wet socks and boots. Got back there and very, very thankful.
Yeah, actually I was.
That there was actually...
a really nice guy.
Yeah, Mike from America.
Yep.
He was in the hut on his own.
And he had the same thing that I had. He couldn't hit anything either.
Yeah, he was having dramas too. Yeah.
The fire was cranking.
Mike had a fire going. So that was nice that we didn't have to get one started. Walking into a nice warm hut, I tell you, was after all of that was just amazing. So that is one of the things about the huts in New Zealand. If there's somebody there, you've just got to share. So there was plenty of beds and so forth. We cooked up. Did we cook the tar that night, or did we leave it?
No, I couldn't do it.
That's right.
I was just exhausted.
Yep. Just the back country, and
I think we actually had dessert that night. That's right, we did, because we had a lamb fettuccine and a apple crumble or a apricot something.
Oh, yep.
Because we just needed a bit extra.
Yep. Yeah, and then we were into bed. Had a good chat to Mike.
Yeah, Mike was from Minnesota. He's over here for 3 months, so interesting old chap. He followed Mr. Few Animals, also taken a few animals.
It was good talking to him about his experience. He was basically doing sort of what I wanted to do. Was to go over there for 3 months, buy a camper van, and just tour around, just go where you wanted to go, not have any schedule or anything, and just doing what you want to do. That's one of my fantasies is to spend
You're nearly retired, mate.
Spend 3 or 4 months in New Zealand, just cruising. You made sure that you apologised to Mike before the.
Didn't need to actually.
I was a bit worried how he was going to go, and you'd actually asked me the question earlier in the day, like, what happens if we go there and there's other people in the hut?
I was a bit self-conscious of my snoring.
Yeah, and I was like, well, that's bad luck for them. Like you got to share. That's just how it is. So I'm lying there. I'm in the top bunk, and these two are in one of the bottom bunks each. And I'm lying there listening to Lawson snore, and I'm thinking, oh, poor Mike. He's probably laying there getting really shitty with us because he can't get to sleep, and I feel really bad for him. And the next minute I hear him snoring as well. So I thought, okay, obviously I'm the victim tonight. I'm just going to lay here and try and get to sleep. But honestly, with the amount of work that we'd done that day, it was not a problem to get to sleep. So
that was good. I enjoyed that sleep. I only went to sleep for a couple of hours, but it was a warm sleep. I think that difference between a cold and I got horribleness coming to because he said, "Oh, I'm going to get up at 6 o'clock."
Yeah,
I think we're all awake by 6 o'clock anyway.
Oh yeah, I was awake when his alarm went off. But we said to him, "Look, you do you in the morning. Don't worry about us. Get up, do what you got to do. We'll either stay in bed or we'll get up. That's just how it is. That's our bad luck." So,
but we had planned to, we did say to him, we are going to get up and get going. It was just we weren't rushing. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But we had a bit of driving to do the next day and so forth. So, next morning he got up and left. We packed up, cleaned up the hut a bit. It's always really important if you're using the backcountry huts that you do clean up after yourself. Whatever rubbish you take in, take it out. Cut a bit of firewood, stack some firewood, sweep. Yeah, and if you take something, the unwritten rule is if you take something from the hut, then leave something behind. So we left a bit of food behind, a bit of a gas bottle. Was there anything else?
I possibly left my brand new mattress there, which we'll find out in the next podcast what happens there. But I actually left. I'm pretty confident I've left it there. So whoever goes to Mount Jollie's hut, enjoy the brand new City Summit Ether large mattress.
Sleeping mat.
It's a fantastic one. I've left a few things there. I left a lighter. I left quite a few things there, just because we didn't need them. Toilet paper, a few things like that.
Yep. Yeah. That is one of the big advantages of the huts too, is they've all got long drop toilets in them. So it was good to not have to, pop a squat and do all of that sort of thing. Actually sit down and have a poo with a view. You leave the door open and a nice view out the door. So
it's a new series that actually started. I'm about to start. Poo with a view. So I got 4 videos in New Zealand. So please rate my videos with poo with a view.
Yeah. So that was basically that was it. The next day we walked out, saw the deer again.
Saw a nice stag with them.
Yeah. got back to the car park, had a chat to some of the locals.
Yeah, they were quick, weren't they?
Yeah.
Pulled up and we were straight into us.
Yeah. They were actually a little bit surprised that we didn't see any deer. Which, we definitely saw sign of deer, but we did not see any deer. So that might be an option, going down there for a raw hunt or something or other. Yeah.
One day.
But quick trip back to Queenstown then, pick up the other boys for the next trip.
We went to the pub for dinner, and Cookies. There's a cookie place at Queenstown. You should go. I really recommend it.
So, wrapping up this hunt, mate. What was some of the gear that worked well for you, and some gear that didn't work well?
I'll probably go for the gear that didn't work. First, I'll start with the reason why I've been missing so many shots is the app that I've been using. We'll talk a bit more about it in length in the next episode, I'm assuming, after I get bagged out. But yeah, I thought, when I say, what Tobias mentioned before, that I thought it didn't sound right, but we didn't actually take the time to go back and look at it. We actually had a quick shot at some rocks, and because it was still perfect zero, we were kind of like, okay, well, there's nothing wrong with it. But what we were actually supposed to be looking at was the app that we were using the dial in. You figure out how far the distance is, you go on the app, you type in 402, angle, wind, everything, and it gives you the results. What had actually happened was, you figured it out, thank God, but it was too late, was that I'd gone in, put everything I wanted in, but it wasn't saving. I was pressing save, but it was going back to the default. I'll rephrase that. I thought I was pressing save, but I wasn't. It was not saving properly, and it was going back and putting it into a default mode, which was 200 feet faster.
Yeah.
Feet per second faster. So that explains my misses. So one was the app I'm a bit annoyed about, but I don't have anyone else to blame other than myself for that. I didn't practice enough with it. There was kind of a few things that didn't go to plan with that.
Yeah, I think our big mistake there really was that once we sort of figured out or suspected that there was a problem with some element of it, we didn't do anything to try and work it out. We just kind of hoped for the best next time.
Yeah, but the first shot across the river, it was a long shot. And I think we both kind of just went, oh, that's 568 metres or something like that from memory. That's miles away. And I kind of went, oh, well, yes, we should have probably, after the shot on the hill, after your bull, that's probably when alarm bells should have gone off and gone, we need to have a look at this better. So I still blame myself. No one else to blame, but that's, for me, I was more worried about guiding on the way in the raw before I had put that before anything else. But I really should have had that gun there. I should have probably had a few extra shots. I should have really stretched it out to 600 metres and, hit some dongs and stuff like that.
Yep.
I was shooting pinholes at camp. I thought, cool, that's it. That's all I need to do. That was perfect. And got it, stretched it out to 200 metres. No, that's fine. I'm not going to miss. I didn't think I was going to miss or anything like that. Then obviously, what happens. So it's a mistake we'll have to live with because that's all right. You live and you learn.
Yep. Oh, well, we know that bull's up there and he'll be bigger next year. So as long as nobody gets him in the meantime.
Well, I don't think they've been chased too much, those bulls.
Yeah.
Pretty casual.
I think one of the things that I noticed that we sort of changed when we got back was the way you're packing your pack. So you were using a big 30-litre dry sack, and basically throwing everything in that and then throwing that in your pack. And consequently, I think it was packed poorly then in terms of the weight distribution for you.
I think once you ran through how to pack it, which is something you teach on those courses, which I've said to you a few times, I just want to do your course. This is my third backpacking trip, fourth, not many. I think once you showed me, we got back to the hut, and that's when we worked. Okay, everything's getting put together. Once you did that, and then you did a few extra things to the bag, it was significantly better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Like I know when we were walking in, your frame needed adjusting, so we did that. And as soon as I did that, you were like, "Oh, that's 10 times better straight away."
Yeah,
just it's sitting better on your back. Yeah. Look, for me, I again, people are probably going to get sick of me hearing me say this, but the walk and stalk bar that I had, I really found that useful over there. So I extended it out so that I was basically holding it sort of, a fifth of the way from the top down. So I wasn't holding it at the top. I was holding it a little bit lower, 10, 12 inches lower, and using that as a walking stick. And then when I needed something longer to lean on or to stretch out, when you're walking downhill, you put it right out in front of you, and then use that to support your weight as you're stepping down. And then crossing like those dodgy scree fields, I would put it out and lean into it, dig it into the hill and then lean into it. And I found that really helpful getting across those two. So, and I worked that stick. Oh, that's going to sound horrible if I finish that sentence. I used that stick very hard. I wasn't gentle with it.
No,
I said to you, if it breaks, then it breaks on this trip. That's. I'm not gonna baby it. But yeah, it held up really well. So still continue to be impressed with that.
It's a good bit of gear.
The other thing I'm going to give a favourable mention to are the boots. I can't remember if I mentioned them in the last podcast, but Crispy Futura Power PWR boots. Again, Crispy, in full transparency, Crispy supplied them to me to take on this hunt and test them out. They want some genuine feedback. Anybody that's listened to my podcast before knows the struggle that I've had over the years with boots, finding boots that work well with my feet, particularly my right foot. Those boots just impressed me, continued to impress me on that trip. They grip well, great support, good rigidity particularly for that sort of hunting, but yet not too hard for the flat land stuff and going over the rocks on the river and that sort of thing. So, so they were a winner for me. What else?
No, you had some tent problems. You fixed that up back at the camp.
Yeah, I tried to when I got back to Queenstown, but it didn't work because it leaked on me on the next hunt.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a future me problem. I'm going to have to put it up in the yard and get some decent seam sealer into it.
Yeah.
So that was a good lesson, actually. I probably, again, that I didn't test my gear. I didn't prove it before I left. I should have had that tent up. I should have made sure everything was okay. you just kind of assume, particularly good quality tent like that, I just assumed that it would be okay. But given the amount of work that it's done and how old it is, I probably should have set it up and stuck it under the sprinkler and made sure that there were no leaks or anything else.
I carried a fishing rod pretty much all through New Zealand.
Mm.
Did 3 casts. So probably another thing would be is check. I think from what everyone was telling me that the trout were out of season.
Yeah, well, we did see quite a few dead trout up the Jollie, and they swum up, spawned, and then died off. So, yeah, probably wasn't the best place to go for fishing, but
no, but I think
you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, but I should have done some more research. I researched the area, and there was a lot of good stuff, but not that Jolly. So, again, that falls back on me. Probably should ask more questions and stuff.
Yeah, but we did discuss like the next trip, and we both said that we'd like to do a bit more fishing, dedicate a bit more time to fishing rather than being so rushed, and a bit more time for some recovery too. So,
yeah, sadly,
yeah, I think our knees were a little bit sore after getting back to the car, so probably would have been good if we'd had a day to go and soak in a hot tub and do something like that.
Yes, no, it was cool. We basically after that head straight back to the bloody Queenstown and picked the boys up, and away we went again.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's no mucking around.
You made the comment before about this being, one of the best sort of hunts that you've done and most enjoyable. Is that what's your definition of enjoyable? What made that hunt so enjoyable for you?
I don't know. I wouldn't call it. I don't know how to explain it. The fact, I don't know about the whole joyful. It was just, I'm never going to forget that. There was a few points there. We're just waking up and there was just tar walking across the screen. I'm like, oh, there's another one. Oh, look, there's another one. Yeah, just something about that. I've hunted in plenty of places where I go, oh, there's a pig, oh, there's a pig, oh, there's a pig, or there's a deer. I've had those opportunities to hunt really good places with lots of animals and stuff. But I think it was just the adventure. There was no one else. It was hard. Like it wasn't that. It was hard, but I knew I could do it. Like we walked 16 k's that day to get out. Going up to that hill, even though I'm not the fittest person and I struggle with all that kind of stuff, I got up there. It was 1,400 meters up. I don't know. It was type 2 fun. It sucked, but it was fun. And we had the scree, which like at the time I hated going across it because I slip, I'm going to be falling. Probably not to my death, but it would have hurt.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there was just a lot of little going. This is cool because we are so high, so far away from people. You could tell that these tar hadn't seen many people, if not none. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's really hard to put it where it was. Like I can say to my kids, I slept on the side of a hill with a 3x3 meter, gap, not gap, like a 3x3 flat spot, and if I let go of my tent, it would have flown away or something. But maybe not flown away, but it was just something. It was just an adventure.
Yep. Yeah, that is definitely one of the things about New Zealand. You can make it as much of an adventure as you want. You don't have to go out there and suffer intentionally, but you can't go on a hunt there without there being suffering involved. There's either long Ks or big hills or, bush bashing or slippery rocks, river crossings, heavy long pack outs, all of that sort of thing. But for me, it's just, that hunt was really good for my soul. Getting right up in there, pushing ourselves, that spike out part, that really fed my soul. So I came back from that hunt. I really enjoyed the first hunt, don't get me wrong, but I came back from that hunt thinking and feeling like I had really gotten value for money out of that experience.
Yeah. Yeah, my only regret for that hunt was we didn't do the back, the lightweight stuff earlier. But we were watching the weather, and it would have been awesome to have the 3 days in there instead of the 2 nights. 3 nights instead of 2 days.
Yeah.
Because they had that opportunity of walking over to get your bull. I had that nanny at less than 100 metres. And I got some footage of her, and she's just wandering along like nothing's going on. And then basically the whole time we're watching tahr pop up everywhere around us. So we would have had another opportunity, no doubt, to get onto one. So, but yes, my gun was not set, but yeah. I don't know, the whole mindset was different. Even the packing out was kind of like, this is going to be hard, but this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. Which I know some people probably think that's stupid, but do hard things and you'll feel good about yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
I lost 12 kilos for the whole month. And now it's kind of like, right, well, I need to get back into it and continue doing that. So.
Yeah, we did talk a lot about exercise and fitness, and we listened to a couple of podcasts on that trip as well. It's kind of given us a direction to go. Some resources that we're gonna look up and study.
Yeah, because next year I want to be even better. So.
All right. Well, we'll call that a wrap. So for those listening in, following along, the next podcast is going to try and organise all 4 boys to be together. So we went to Eblis Tops for the tahr ballot. Quite an adventure. Shared it with Jesse and Brandon. So as soon as I can organise them all to be together in the same place at the same time, I'll get that recording out. But thanks again for listening in, and really appreciate all the support, all the messages I get, questions, that sort of thing. Again, if you are sort of interested in doing this type of hunting, and you've got questions, come along to one of my backcountry fundamentals courses, and we can discuss all this sort of stuff and set you on the right path.
Also, we are giving away a hunt to New Zealand with us next year.
Yes.
So if you're not a member of the Nature's Perks membership group, head over to the link in our bio, sign up. $5, $10 a month, that's all it is. $5 or $10, whatever you like, and you get all the discounts to the brands that we use. And on top of that, you could win hunts. We've got a buffalo hunt, red stag hunt, we've got a tahr hunt, a couple of meat hunts, a couple of fishing trips, lots of stuff happening. So I think we've got 6 big giveaway hunts for this year coming up. So, thanks again.
Excellent. All right. We'll catch you on the next one. Hey team, thank you for listening in. If you'd like to contact me for a chat, pass on any feedback, or have some ideas for future podcasts, please reach out to me on Instagram at Australian_hunting_backcountry, or email me australian.hunting.backcountry@outlook.com.au. Thank you, and please remember, look after yourselves and your money.